Hey y'all, I'm back with more Stardew Valley tips and tricks, and this time we are taking on summer. Summer in the Valley is vibrant, fun, and super profitable if you approach it in the right way. And today we are going to take a look at what you can do to have the best summer in Stardew Valley, whether it's your first summer or you're already a few years into the game. As always, remember that there is no wrong or right way to play Stardew Valley as long as you are having fun. And of course, this video is going to contain 1.6 spoilers and a couple of mid to late game surface level spoilers. Also, in case you missed it, don't forget to check out my spring tips and tricks video, which I will link down below in the description or somewhere on the screen right now. With that being said, let's get right into it. First of all, what actually changes from spring to summer? Well, quite a few things. The forageables that you can find change from horseradish, leeks, daffodils, and dandelions to spiceberries, grapes, and sweet peas, and most catchable fish change, with a few that stay consistent from spring, such as catfish during rainy weather. The crops that you can grow on your farm also change, and the dialogue that the villagers can give you around town changes from season to season too. Aside from this, during your first summer, the boulder blocking the upper mountain area is cleared by an earthquake, allowing you to access an entirely new area with a spa and a railroad. Speaking of the spa, let's talk about energy. If you're in your first year, energy is probably still going to be a bit of a struggle, and to be honest, even if you're a few years into your game, any way to replenish energy is a bonus. Not many people might know that you can actually go into the spa in the mountains once it's available and stand in the water to replenish your energy. If you'd like to get a lot done in the morning, or you've given yourself more plants to water than you can handle, just head to the spa for a while and you'll be ready to go in no time. You should also be able to get your hands on 2 star drops this season, which increase your maximum energy by 34 points each, although technically you can get them in spring too if you have a laser focus. You can get 1 star drop from the chest on level 100 of the mines, and another from Krobus's shop in the sewer if you've unlocked access to it. This requires donating 60 items to the museum, which is a wild thing to do in just one season, but it definitely can be done. Let's talk about crops. Ideally, you'll be at least level 6 farming or close to it by the time you reach your first summer in order to craft yourself some quality sprinklers. If you've managed to find and donate 60 items to the museum, Krobus sells iridium sprinklers on Fridays in the sewers for 10,000 gold. Also, quick side note, I've known some people to believe that you can only unlock Krobus's shop after you've had the encounter with the shadow creature in winter, but that's not actually Krobus at all. They are 2 complete different shadow creatures, or at least it's not confirmed to be Krobus, so yeah, you can actually access his shop at any time as long as you've met the museum requirements. If, for whatever reason, you can't get quality sprinklers, normal sprinklers can also be helpful, but in my opinion, they kind of ruin the entire aesthetic of your farm and cost a lot to make for what they do. I usually skip placing normal sprinklers if I can avoid it because I just don't like how they look, and I try and make sure that my watering can has been upgraded to copper before summer. But what crops should you actually plant? The most profitable crop by far in the summer is starfruit, which you can only buy from Sandy if you've unlocked access to Calico Desert. And they become even more profitable if you have kegs and can process them into wine. If it's your first year, you probably don't have the bus stop unlocked yet, although you might, because at the end of the day, all you need to unlock it is a lot of money, so if you're on that money grind from the start of the game, you might have it unlocked by now. For those that don't have the bus stop unlocked yet, blueberries are ideal. They are incredibly profitable, and although melons technically make more money, blueberries produce multiple berries per bush and you don't need to replant them. They'll keep producing every 4 days until the end of the season. Another favorite crop of mine to plant during the summer is corn. Corn might not be the most profitable of all of the summer crops, but it keeps producing once grown, and it grows during the summer and fall, which means that you can essentially have a stable crop growing and producing on your farm for literally half a year. Speaking of crops, let's talk a little bit more about sprinklers. If you haven't reached level 6 farming yet, you'll be stuck with basic sprinklers, which you can still make work, even if they don't look as nice. They cost a copper bar and an iron bar to make, whereas quality sprinklers, unlocked at level 6, cost 1 iron, 1 gold, and 1 refined quartz bar to make. The best and the easiest way to get all of these materials is obviously to frequent the mines. Like we mentioned in the previous video, exiting via the ladder and re-entering using the elevator causes the mines to reset, so you can take advantage of this to farm for ore and quartz. Quartz is easily found on the early levels of the mines, and fire quartz can be found starting at level 81, with the bonus of producing 3 refined quartz. Also, if you are at least fishing level 4, you can make yourself a recycling machine and throw all of your trash into it for an easy profit. Broken glasses and broken CDs always return refined quartz. Of course, if you are further along in your game, you can make yourself some iridium sprinklers, which would require grinding the Skull Cavern quite a lot. Well, it just so happens that I have a Skull Cavern 1.6 guide designed for people in late game that want to get the most out of their runs. I will leave it somewhere on the screen or in the description down below, and you can check it out if you want to. Let's backtrack a bit and talk about fishing. In our spring tips video, we talked a little bit about fishing and how much of an amazing moneymaker that it is, especially since the 1.6 update with the addition of bait makers and the fish smoker. If you're still struggling with fishing and you're still a low level, even after following the tips in my previous video, there is also something you can do to passively increase your fishing level. Starting at level 3, you can craft crab pots or buy them from Willy. Just put some bait in and the next day you will have caught something. Anything that you catch from crab pots gives 5 fishing experience, whether you've caught trash or an actual fish. Now, here's a chart that I got from the Stardew Valley wiki that details exactly how many crab pots you'd need to harvest to get from one level to the next. And while it's not the most efficient way, you could definitely place a couple of dozen crab pots around for a little extra experience every day, especially if your farm has easy access to water. Now, it might not look pretty, but you can place, let's say, 20 crab pots around your farm and you will get 100 fishing experience every day just like that, as long as you remember to put bait in and to take the fish out or the trash every single day. It's not as fast as actual fishing, but if you hate to fish but you still want to get the experience to eventually get mastery, I feel like this might be a good option. Speaking of fishing, let's talk about a new event added in Stardew 1.6, the Trout Derby. On the 20th and the 21st of summer, you can participate in the Trout Derby down south in Cindersap Forest. The idea behind this event is to catch rainbow trout, which have a chance to give you golden tags which can then be turned in for rewards. Unlike other days, you can catch rainbow trout all day long in Cindersap Forest during the festival, so you have plenty of time to catch as many tags as you need. You can catch any amount of tags limited only to the time that the event lasts for, and you can get a total of 11 different rewards, 10 of which repeat once you've received them all. Plus, you also keep any leftover tags that you haven't used at the end of the event, and they can carry over to the next year, so make sure to keep them stored away. If you've achieved level 6 fishing, you can make yourself a bait maker. Place it down beside you, and once you catch your first rainbow trout, use it to make yourself some rainbow trout bait. Use as many rainbow trout to make bait as you need, because what you're really looking for here are golden tags. Golden tags have a 33% chance to appear with each trout that you catch, and the first golden tag that you turn in will give you a tent kit as a reward, which you can use to sleep right beside the event and wake up the next morning ready to fish as soon as you step out of your tent. A fun fact about the Trout Derby is that it has a couple of interesting dialogues. There's a nod to a very popular Stardew Valley mod called Grampleton Fields, with this fisherman who says, "I came all the way from Grampleton for this." And there's another funny dialogue where if you interact with an annoyed fisherman enough times in a row, he'll say, "Someone's about to get battered, and it ain't the trout." Alright, sir. From one end of the map to the other, let's talk about the railroad. Like we said earlier, if it's your first summer, you will gain access to this area on summer 3rd. And once that happens, trains can randomly pass through Stardew Valley and drop loot if you're there to see it. When a train's about to pass through, you will get this pop-up message in the corner saying a train is passing through Stardew Valley. Now, personally, I find this event one of the most annoying in the entire game because if you're at the opposite end of the map when this happens, you pretty much have to drop everything you're doing and run to the railroad, and even then, it doesn't always drop loot, and when it does, the drops aren't usually that good. I'm unsure exactly how much time you have to get to the railroad when you see the message pop up. I've seen people claim it to be an hour, and some say that it's less, but either way, it's quite the sprint for not much in return, as all of the item drops can be found in other, more reliable ways. Aside from one. Whenever a train drops a resource, it has a 1% chance of dropping leprechaun shoes, a unique item of clothing that's unfortunately only found from train drops. These shoes aren't anything special, they give a +1 to immunity and a +2 to defense, but they are a unique drop and they go perfectly with the leprechaun hat that you can find in spring. Keep in mind that although this area opens up in summer, you might not actually see a single train passing through for an entire year, or you might see 1 or 2 a week. It's entirely random and there's no guarantee that you'll get anything from the train if you even get there. Unless you happen to be nearby at Robin's or close to a minecart if you've unlocked them, or you really want those leprechaun shoes, I think it's kind of a waste of time. Let's talk a bit about a new event added in 1.6, Green Rain. Green Rain happens once every summer, lasting an entire in-game day, and it'll be foreshadowed by a weather forecast message on the TV. This weather causes most villagers to take shelter in the Stardrop Saloon, and you can actually enter every building in the village regardless of the time of day, and you can even enter some villagers' bedrooms without having the necessary heart requirements. You can talk to every villager to get unique dialogue related to the rain, but you can't give them gifts during this event. When green rain happens, it causes a whole lot of special green rain trees, weeds, and moss to spawn around the entire valley, except for the beach and of course Calico Desert where it never rains. This is a great chance to get some massive foraging experience, as well as stock up on wood, moss fiber, and fiddlehead ferns which drop from this specific green rain tree. Whatever you had planned for a green rain day, scratch that and go woodcutting and foraging for the entire day instead. It is incredibly worth it. Moss can be used to make mushroom logs, as well as a very useful late game item that you unlock after reaching level 10 in everything. Trust me, you'll want to stock up on as much moss as you possibly can. Plus, for every moss that you collect, you'll get 1 foraging experience point, and these big bushes also give 15 experience points each when destroyed. Another super important thing to note about green rain is that it gives every single planted seed in the valley a massive chance to fully grow. To understand how this works, we have to understand how trees work. When you plant a seed or a seed falls from a tree, it has to go through 4 stages before it fully grows. Trees have a 20% chance to go to the next stage every single night, except from stage 4 to maturity, which usually takes much longer. However, the night before green rain, stage 1 saplings have a 50% chance to go straight to stage 4, and all stage 2 and 3 saplings go straight to stage 4 anyway. And then every single tree affected grows an additional 3 nights worth. This basically means that around half of the trees that you have planted and growing will grow fully on the day of the green rain. So make sure to check the weather often during summer if you want to take advantage of this and plant a bunch of saplings before the rain. If you really want to be prepared and make sure that you don't send your axe off for upgrading and miss some valuable foraging, keep in mind that green rain can spawn on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and 23rd of the month, and no other days. Oh, and if you notice that some of the trees on your farm turn into green rain trees, do not worry. Most of them will revert back to normal trees the next day, so your tapper farm shouldn't be too affected. Speaking of foraging, not many people know this, but there is a sort of hidden event on the beach during the summer. From the 12th to the 14th, the ocean water surrounding the beach turns a slight green color and more forageables than usual can be found. Foraged items on the beach only give 7 foraging experience per, so it's not that massive in terms of leveling, but it can make for a little extra money. You can also find rainbow shells on the beach during summer, the only time of year that you can find them, and they make some good money, are a universally liked gift, and they are needed for a key quest down the road, so make sure to keep one. While we're on the topic of the beach, let's talk about the Stardew Valley Luau. The Luau takes place on the 11th of summer, and you are expected to bring something to add to the community potluck. Mind you, the game doesn't specify that the potluck is actually a soup, so don't make my mistake of bringing a whole dish to the Luau your first time, or you won't be able to participate at all. The idea behind this festival is that the governor is visiting and Lewis wants to impress him with a delicious potluck. Depending on what you bring to the potluck, the response from the mayor and the villagers can range from good to neutral to bad. The best response will give you 120 friendship points with every villager, whereas the worst outcome causes you to lose 100 friendship points with every villager. There's also a hidden secret outcome that has 0 effect on friendship levels at all, and is basically just there for a laugh. Try adding Mayor Lewis's shorts to the potluck next time if you can. Pierre's stall also has a bunch of cute decorations available, as well as a normal quality starfruit in case you forgot to bring anything for the potluck. Adding the starfruit will give you the second best response and 60 friendship points with all the villagers. If you want to get technical with it, the governor cares about high quality foods that sell for a lot of gold and restore a lot of health and stamina. So high value silver or gold quality crops or animal produce that have good stats are a guaranteed win. I usually have a gold quality super cucumber sitting around by now, which gives the best response, or some gold cheese, silver goat's cheese, or a gold large milk. Speaking of events, and this one isn't as much a tip as it is a reminder, on the last day of summer you can witness the dance of the Moonlight Jellies starting at 10 p.m. on the beach. You can talk to all the villagers for unique dialogue and buy some of my favorite unique items of furniture from Pierre's stall, and of course you can witness the actual dance of the Moonlight Jellies, but that's really all there is to this festival. Now let's talk about planning ahead for those that are in their first summer. If it's your first year and you want to be able to make a lot of money down the line, I highly recommend setting up an oak resin tapper farm during your first couple of seasons. The more, the better. Once you reach level 8 farming, which you might during your first summer if you've farmed enough, you can craft kegs, which require 1 copper bar, 1 iron bar, some wood, and an oak resin. The more kegs that you can make, the more wine that you can produce, and the more money you can make down the line. So starting an oak resin tapper farm and frequenting the mines for iron and copper is a good idea. You should also aim for having your axe upgraded to at least steel by the end of summer so that you can access the secret woods and start farming them for hardwood, which respawns every day. You'll need a lot of hardwood in the mid to late game, so the earlier that you can start farming it, the better. These stumps will drop mahogany seeds, which you can also then plant for even more hardwood. And if you're planning on marrying a villager down the road, or if you want to get started on cooking recipes for perfection, you should probably stock up on some wood and some coin to upgrade your house so that it has a kitchen. Without a kitchen, you can't marry any NPCs as they won't have space to move in. Summer's also a great time to start upgrading your coop and your barn if you haven't already, aiming for the deluxe upgrade with the auto feeder before winter so that your animals are fed every single day, even if you forget. Assuming that you have a silo full of hay, which you definitely should by then. And while you're at Robin's, if you have the money, you should definitely pick up a big chest recipe because it will make your life so much easier. At some stage during your first summer, or maybe even earlier, you will unlock mystery boxes after a cutscene where Mr. Key drops them all around the valley. This can be triggered by one of two things. You either collect your first prize ticket or 50 days pass in the valley. So if you haven't collected any prize tickets yet, you should get this cutscene on the night of summer 22nd. After this cutscene, you will start finding mystery boxes when going about your usual activities such as chopping down trees, mining for ore, killing monsters, etc. And you can open up these mystery boxes just like geodes at Clint's, and they contain a long list of items ranging from seeds to cooked dishes to prismatic shards, so they're definitely worth getting your hands on. We talked about prize tickets briefly in the last video, and you can get these by completing quests such as Help Wanted quests in certain events, and if you've upgraded your axe to copper, you can find a free prize ticket hidden behind the bookseller stand. To use these tickets, just go to Lewis's house and interact with the machine in the corner. The more prize tickets that you use, the better the reward, going from some simple seeds to books to Star Drop tea, iridium bars, and much more. And last but not least, I do have a correction to make. In my last video, I said that the only benefits of reaching level 120 in the mines was unlocking the key to Skull Cavern and Junimo card. But I missed something. Shout out to Buddy Haas for pointing out that after you hit level 120, all monsters get a 0.05% chance of dropping prismatic shards. Aside from being a universally loved gift for everyone except for Haley for whatever reason, you will want to find at least one prismatic shard as soon as possible because you'll need it to unlock one of the best weapons in the game, the Galaxy Sword. However, this is not the only change that happens in the mines after hitting level 120. From that point onwards, diamonds can also begin to drop from monsters, gems can be found when searching trash cans, some gem drops on certain floors change, making it possible to find any gem on any floor, and monsters also get a little bit of a buff. Monsters get a 50% defense increase, their HP is also increased by a random amount between 0 and 100%, their damage is increased by a random amount between 0 and 50%, and 20 different mine floor layouts can start appearing. So if you do reach level 120 in the mines, make sure to keep this in mind when you go venturing out. And that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it at all, please consider liking and subscribing and all that fun stuff. I am already working on a fall tips video that'll be up as soon as it's ready. And before we wrap up, I just want to thank you all so much for your support. I am officially a YouTube partner, and that would not have been possible without each... Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. That would not have been possible without each and every one of you. I am enjoying myself so much. I love reading your thoughts and ideas in the comments, and I am really excited to start this new chapter and to keep making content for you guys. Just by being here and watching, you are already supporting me more than you know. But for those of you who are interested in supporting me further so that I can keep making content regularly, I have activated memberships on my channel that give you access to some unique Stardew-themed pixel art badges and frog emotes that I made myself, which you can use in the comment section on my channel. Thank you again for everything, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!